to our first film breakdown of 2023. Today we are going to be looking at drop stances and mostly taking a look at Andrew Wiggins. If you don't know what a drop stance is, essentially it's when your back foot hits, then your front foot hits. There's a lot of different ways to get into this, but if we just kind of look at the small details of this, the benefit, I almost like to think of it as like a modern version of the triple threat, because you can, as you see here in this first clip, back foot, front foot, you can cross over and go the other way, or you can step in and shoot as well. So it gives you those three options. But here, if we just watch and see, comes down, quick dribble, back foot, front foot, and he's able to get downhill and create separation for a shot. Next clip, as we're going here, again, another way that we can get into it, a pound dribble, and he opens up those hips, that back foot's forward, and now notice as he crosses over, that front foot actually steps with, the foot follows the ball, and he gets to his pull-up again. Next clip, again, just off that quick dribble, and then crossover, gets into that drop sense where this foot's forward, this foot's back, and you see how he's really shifting his weight to sell, that he's going to go left, and that front foot steps over, so he steps past the defender and protects the ball, so his shoulders are closed and is able to get to his spots. Now again, he gets cut off and gets back to that drop stance, right? His front foot's forward, back foot's back. He did it from going to an under drag, and now he's able to cross over again and keep going. Here again, just off that quick dribble like we work on a lot in our workouts. Another crossover with that front foot going forward. Here we can see him kind of get into it twice. The first time was a little bit more of a setup, trying to get a read on how the defender was going to play him. He goes between there, then he gets back to it again and sees he has space to his right, changes direction, is able to get to a spot for a shot. Again, there's a lot of different ways to get off this. Here he's using a between the legs float. So we have our front foot forward, back foot back. But as you guys can see, if we go back here, between the legs, he kind of floats in the air for a second. Now he kind of keeps that dribble alive, and that's what allows him to continue to do it. So here he actually goes twice. On that second one, that front foot's forward. And he, again, going right, trying to get to a spot to pull up. Here you can just kind of see again, obviously that was a turnover, but if we look at the footwork, we talk a lot about when you're using screens or you're just trying to set up your defender, you got to shake them or shift them, and here that's what he's trying to do with his first initial drop stance. He's just trying to get a feel for him, and then he goes again, he'll refloat here where you see his back foot go back, front foot forward, and he gets outside the defender's hips and goes to attack. Obviously, it didn't end up the way that we wanted it to. Here, again, I would call these like probe dribbles, just trying to get a feel for the defense on a post feed. But eventually he's able to get the defense to bite on that initial crossover. If we go back and we just watch this full speed, which will eventually open him up for a shot. That's the tough thing about this footwork, is you got to be able to read whether it's a drive, a crossover, or if he's going to shoot. Just like right there, the defender backed up, he's in his drop stance, and he just steps in and knocks it down because he has the space. Float, again, to get to it, it goes to a crossover, we're able to get downhill. Again here, just off the between the legs float, he opens his hips up and then also throws an in and out in there too. So that's another option, obviously, as well, is to add a counter off of this. If you don't get the separation that you want, he gets there, doesn't quite have the gap he wants, so he tries to shake his defender one more time so he can split that gap and get to the rim. And again, just off that between the legs, that quick crossover, get into a spot and just knocking it down. We'll watch that again one more time. Float, quick cross, he's getting downhill. Then lastly, we can just kind of see here, he opens his hips. That allows him to just take that one dribble downhill and kind of get to his spot. I think the other great thing about this drop stance is it sets you up for good dribble timing with that back foot going back. So you always notice when he's just driving, his back foot's always going to be the one that steps first. So he can step there, so he's able to step back. Thank you guys for watching. Obviously, if you are in our group sessions this spring, you guys will be receiving this. But if you're watching on YouTube or wherever you may be watching, thank you for watching, and stay on the lookout for more film breakdowns coming in 2023.